Okay, so Blender 2.79 was just recently released, and I downloaded it, so that's what I'm working with right now. I don't think there's going to be too much different in the interface, but I'd just like to also explain that I found in this new version of Blender File, User Preferences, and this panel here at Themes, I found this preset true blue menu. I just thought that was cool looking, so I just set that, just in case you're wondering how I got this color. It's just something that came with this latest version of Blender. It was a preset that shipped with it. Okay, so save user settings. Gonna close that. I like how this looks. So let's delete this sphere. Let's go here. Start fresh. New, reload startup scene. So we got the cube the way you would see it normally, except for this theme, of course. And so let's just right click on the cube and delete it. And then I'm going to jump ahead. I'm not going into this right now, but just to show you what to do here, Shift A and add a mesh. And let's add the UV sphere. Okay. And so by default it adds it facing up and down on the Z. And then what I wanted to explain was the last video I was going over this panel over here, and it's like it's a parameter. They call this parametric inputs or parametric editing in other programs like ZBrush and a few other ones, I'm sure. It's usually referred to as parametric editing, basically meaning that parameters for this sphere are going to be here, and the parameters that you have to play with are this list here. Its initial location, how many segments, if it's 32 in the like balloon segments or cores or whatever you call those, and you can set that, right? That mount. You can set this these rings, and you can set the size of it. Right now, there also might be situations where you want to have it aligned to a specific viewport, and to do that, let's just say we're in the front view orthographic. That was 1 and 5 on the keyboard, and I come down here and I say align to view. Then it will align it into this view. So sometimes you want to do that off the bat, so you can change it there. Then generate UVs. That's obviously not something we're going to get into at this point. And then of course the location where it is. You could set that if you wanted. You could have numeric inputs. You could also manually adjust the rotation of it, the initial rotation, and so on. So now the thing is, the little hot tip here is that if I select another object and come back, I mean, if you select something and come back, it seems to stay live. So the big deal is here is it won't stay live once you do something else. So I can select something and it'll stay live, but as soon as I say, for example, drag and move the light or something, then this parametric editing is gone. And all that will happen is it'll show up over here, the rotations that you gave it, the location that it's in, and its scale, and so on. So it's worth noting that I mentioned in an earlier video about this being similar to a channel editor in or channel box in Maya, and Numeric Panels and other programs. So anyway, after you've set the segments and so on, you no longer have control of the segments. You just have these various numeric inputs over here on the right, and that's it. So I just wanted to cover that little bit I got into on the last video about this panel over here, and just show an example of how that works. So I'm going to move on to other stuff. We'll get into editing objects and doing all that later.